I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Park Pals. Thank you so much for joining us. I have some deleted scenes / recaps from last episode, or well, a couple of episodes ago, and last episode that I feel like I haven't done recaps in a really long time, but I had notes, and so I was like, let me go back. First of all, if you've been with us for this season, you will remember, or maybe you won't, but just a reminder that I did not look at the deleted scenes for episode 1, the Miss Nope Goes to Washington, because I hadn't gotten the DVDs yet. And I was really pissed because Jenny, who was one of the co-stars, was like, she said she had deleted scenes with Ben. And I was like, what? I didn't see those. And it's because I didn't watch it yet. And that's on me, and I'm sorry. But I did record some of them, and Ben's being super suave, kind of like, hey, I'm a cool guy, I know what I'm doing in DC, blah blah blah. And it's really interesting to see that, but they're kind of being flirty. So I just wanted to start that with I know. I kind of just wanted to play that for you really fast so that you guys get an idea of where Leslie was kind of coming from. But here it is.
By the way, we all love Ben.
Oh, I do too. I love him the most.
He's the rising star in the office.
Speak of the devil.
Hey.
Oh, Ben caught this mistake I made on this internal poll. I would have been so scared of gotten out. I totally owe you.
It was definitely your finest moment. Except for when you made Andrea Mitchell laugh so hard she snarfed her wine.
You made Andrea Mitchell snarf?
No, I mean, I met her for 2 seconds.
You totally did.
Yeah, she totally snarked.
Totally did. So,
Okay, enough. You can't be a power couple if
And so she ends that by saying you can't be a power couple if only one of you is the powerful one or whatever. And there's another deleted scene where she's comparing herself, and I think she might mention this in the actual episode, but she's comparing herself to Hillary and Bill Clinton, and she's Bill, but she's like, oh my god, maybe Ben is Bill, you know what I mean? Which nowadays I think the tables might be turned on that, but regardless. Anyway, the point is that, it was in the first part where Ben comes up and he's like, hey, and he's got this kind of movement with it too.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, he's so into himself, which we love to see. And I don't think he's flirting, but I definitely think with Leslie there.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I think with Leslie there, just witnessing all of this, oh my god, all the other ladies are super into him and think he's super smart and powerful and whatever, because there was another girl there too. You could probably tell there was a voice change, but anyways, so that was
just
Jenny
a
and
rational response though too. Even if she trusts Ben, he's hundreds of miles away from her.
Yeah.
She's not there every day. These girls are kind of putting off a we love Ben vibe.
Totally.
That's just going to feel weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in their head, they're like, oh my god, you're so lucky kind of thing to Leslie, as opposed to we want him. But it's just a weird situation. You know what I'm saying? Especially after Leslie just got denied her proposal. So,
She's already feeling down. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first recap. That was Jenny Ann Hochberg. Just a reminder, she's the one who played that person. And again, that scene got cut, and she only had the one scene with John McCain, where she's the one that comes up and says the general or whatever needs a quote, and it's before the John McCain situation when Leslie's in the closet. And so that was also kind of a friendly reminder too that you may have multiple scenes, but it might get cut. So. Okay, so that's that one. I feel like that gave a lot of backstory and a lot of hey now, hey. But the other deleted scene is from that same episode, but it's a little bit more of a reason on why Anne decided that she wants to save face with Tom. Because remember how we were like, who even cares? Like, who would care if you had to move out or said you broke up? Like, whatever. Why does she care? It's not worth it. But then there's this deleted scene, and it doesn't really super like explain everything, because I think at the end of the day you're just like, still, why? But it does for Anne. I think it makes sense. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, Anne and Tom, aka Haverkins, stronger than ever.
I cannot have it out there that I drunkenly moved in with Tom and then broke up with him the next day. That would officially make me the town slut. That can't be my thing.
Oh my gosh.
Which, like, to be honest, I guess that makes sense because she does date around in the town, but it's a small town, so it's not like I fault her for it. But she has this idea in her head, I think, where she's like, I can't just be known for, like, doing everybody and then being like, okay, never mind, bye, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, too, because we only see a couple people in the town, right? Like, her reference point is Leslie.
Yeah.
And it's like, that Leslie dates very few people, which is just her vibe as a person, and that's totally fine, right? But don't take that as, well, I've dated 2 times the amount of people as Leslie, therefore I am the town slut. Because let's look at Donna.
I was gonna say that's exactly where my head was going. I was like, Donna like does that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah,
but I guess Donna's
no
a little
shame.
bit more swaggery with it.
Oh, she owns it. She owns that's
which
that's
makes
her
you
vibe.
think like she's not being slutty at all. Which, like, I don't even think we should use the word slut anymore, anyways. But but you know what I mean?
Because it's
like,
not. Live your life. Do your thing.
Literally, who cares? But anyways, I just wanted to play that because that was what was going through Anne's head while she was thinking about this. Okay.
Yeah. Fair. That is good backstory, because I think you do sit there in that episode, and I think we talked about it. You're like, Anne, honey, why?
Just let it go. And I mean, the bet for Tom makes more sense, I guess, because like that's why he's staying in it. Obviously, everybody, like, I mean, because even he seems to be annoyed with it. Like, obviously, everybody would think like, oh, well, at least Tom would want to stay because it's Anne.
It's Anne.
Why wouldn't you not like? Why would you want to leave her or whatever? But like, he's even over it by this point. But with the bet and him going bankrupt if they break up, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's Anne's reasoning there. And then, okay, I talked about how I would, in the last episode, research where Leslie and Ben's new house is.
Yeah.
I did find some information on that. The address is 4620 Wurtzer Avenue in Sherman Oaks. Total Sherman Oaks vibes, which is in the Valley in LA, if anyone is interested. It has 5 bedrooms. Some real estate sites say 4, so not super sure, but it's definitely more than 3, like they're talking about in there. And 4 baths, and it has a space. Like I said, dude, this is too big for them. I feel like you can tell that it's not a small Pawnee house to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, they don't need that much space,
Yeah.
and they are on government salaries.
Yeah. And maybe that wood paneling and the fact that they're renting it, not buying it, like, is supposed to make a difference, but whatever. Anyway, it has a spacious 2,688 square feet of living space. Crazy. That's pretty big to me. Well, for mine.
Yeah.
And then some sites say that the interior is not the same as in real life. Like, what they show on TV is not the same as in real life. But I don't really know if that's true because I couldn't find pictures. I tried to go on like Zillow, Redfin, all the real estate sites that I know. And since it's not on sale, usually if it's not on sale, like, you can still look from when it was on sale, but I'm not seeing anything. So anyway, we'll have to, I guess, get some confirmation from that later. But I don't know. They could have created that house. They could have done something. But I feel like if it's actually in Sherman Oaks, a lot of times they use the interior of the houses that they get the exterior of. So I don't know. But anyway, and then, okay, this is the part that I thought was like wild. It was like back in the day, like in the 90s. Back in the day, it's not really the 90s, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. I think it was like late 90s, like 96, something like this. It sold for like $230K or something like that, and now
that's
it's
a
over
lot
$1 million
for that time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you're
Although
right.
it is in LA, huh?
Yeah,
probably. It sounds like Sherman Oaks sounds like it's a fancy part of LA.
It's not fancy. It's just really suburban and very much where families would. I would say it's like. I guess it's fancier than some parts because there are those like hills of Sherman Oaks that are fancy, but it's definitely where families would want to have like some housing because I like Sherman Oaks a lot because it's halfway. It is right in the valley. It's halfway between the beach and the east side. To me personally, more LA local people can weigh in on that if they choose. But like I love Burbank and Glendale, but that's like more. That's further away from the beach, and I feel like Sherman Oaks would be a nice like halfway point between like Santa Monica and Burbank and stuff. But yeah, I mean it is expensive. Yeah, I mean it just is. And
you
so
said,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, what you said it was over? It's over $1 million now, is what it would go for. Sorry, I think I cut you off.
So one side says no, you're good. One side says over $1 million, and then one side says $2 million. And so I have no idea. But what I will say is that my day job is in real estate, so I see a lot of contract prices and things like that. And I will say there are $1 million houses everywhere now, and here, like there is. Okay, I live in one of the last like old houses in my area, and I'm in like I guess you'd call it fancy. It's like kind of rich old money area, I guess. It's like right across the street from a mall. They're constantly building, even though they don't have like infrastructure, but whatever. Anyway, there are so many houses here that are going for like $800,000, or there's condos for going for $1 million, like over $1 million by now, because I think I looked that up last year. And I'm like, you're sharing a wall, and the ones that are $800,000, you get like this tiny little yard, and it's like right next, like it's like 2 steps away from your neighbors, which maybe some people want. I don't know. It's like you're sharing a driveway, that kind of like situation. And my point is, maybe that's what you want, and maybe that's like this is the area that you're looking for, whatever. My point is though, like for that amount, if it really is that, if that's true, at least you're near the beach and in LA. I'm just saying, when I hear people pay for $1 million, $2 million houses here in Nashville, I'm just like, for what? You're next to like concrete and like a square of grass. You're not even next to the lake. What are you doing? But again, that's my personal preference, and I'm sorry to judge people, but it seems so silly to me, especially for a condo.
Yeah. Holly is a beach lady, if people did not know.
I am a beach lady. I'm a beach bitch.
I love it. Okay. We need to get you a mug that says that.
A beach bitch.
Bitch. I love it. I'm so here for that. Boss beach
I'll
bitch.
Just make one. Boss beach bitch. Oh my God. I need to get a sippy cup with that.
A sippy cup?
Like well, I call it a sippy cup, but you know what I mean? Like I could put my drinks in it.
Or a wine glass the size of Big Kevin.
Oh my God, that too.
Yeah. Holly and I had a wine glass that I don't even remember where we got it when we lived together, and we named him Big Kevin, and that thing probably could have held 2 bottles of wine.
I would say at least 1, not 2, maybe
really?
1.
Am I? Like,
I don't think it was 2.
Too much. It looked like a bowl.
Because it was kind of a bowl.
Because can't a normal wine glass hold almost a bottle? Like one of the like tall ones?
Yeah, I feel like I have heard that. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Either way, it can hold a lot of fucking wine.
Yes.
And
anyway, we'll get you a new Big Kevin, and that will say Boss
great.
Beach Bitch. That is a tongue twister.
Yes.
Anyway.
So that's kind of my point, where I'm just like, at least if you were paying for, a bajillion-dollar house, like you should have some sort of like perk, I guess, that comes with it. But maybe to some people, like living in this area / whatever is the perk. But to me, it just doesn't make sense.
Because I agree with you here in Phoenix. Like, it's ridiculous. We live in a 3-bedroom that 4 years ago would have gone for 200 something, and now it could be sold for 600 something. It's ridiculous. Our backyard is concrete.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
I feel like LA, Arizona, even parts of New Mexico and stuff probably shouldn't have grass just because of like the dryness and like there's no way to.
Yeah. And the drought. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so that is Leslie and Ben's house. And I just wanted everyone to know that it is in Sherman Oaks if you'd like to drive by it and then knock on their door and see if the interior is the same.
Yes.
Okay. Last thing that I have is we said that Blood Hook was a comedic movie, and in research it definitely was supposed to be like a like a satire slasher movie, but it got 1 or 2 stars on either of the websites that I found, so it wasn't good.
Oh gosh.
I still want to watch it. Bloodhook was the movie that they were playing in the background of the Halloween parks thing, but yeah, because we were confused on whether or not it was like supposed to be like an actual comedy or whatever. But yeah, it was just supposed to be, I think, satire. I think.
Okay.
Some of them say it was just supposed to be a classic horror movie, so maybe the jury's still out, but because it wasn't. But anyway, all right. Well, that's all I have to say about the recap. Was there anything else that you wanted to chime in about, though, before I move on to this episode?
No, I'm ready to meet Ben's parents.
Yay! Oh my God. Okay. Season 5, episode 6. Yes, so much. Ben's parents. This was written by Greg Levine, who is the script supervisor. He also hosts the Parks and Recollection podcast with Jim O'Hare, aka Jerry. And he was also like a writer just in general on the show too, so that's really cool to hear his perspective on some stuff. And then directed by Dean Holland, who we know and love. Dean Holland has been in a lot of has been directing a lot of episodes this season, which I'm really excited about. If you don't know who Dean Holland is, do your research, because I talk about him all the time and we're obsessed. I'm ready for a summary whenever.
All right, here we go. Ben and Leslie are having an engagement party where Leslie will get to meet Ben's parents for the first time, and their drama. Tom and Jean-Ralphio work on a Rent-A-Swag business pitch to give Ron, and Chris continues to work through his many thoughts and feelings brought forward in therapy.
Yay! Oh my gosh, yeah, Chris is a little wild.
Lot. Yeah. This whole episode, I have so many thoughts and feelings about, I think, as two people coming from homes of divorce. I think we'll have a lot to weigh in on, and this Red Vines Twizzlers thing, Holly.
Oh my God. I can't wait to get to that. Okay, well, we start this episode off in the parks department. Leslie is showing off her ring. Anne says it's so sparkly, which I love that comment for whatever reason. It just seems cute. Leslie says it's a non-conflict diamond, which for some reason Andy thinks is a bad thing. I guess it's because of the way Leslie says it, like, or something.
And like a non. I think the non might throw him off too. Like it's a negative.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's a positive.
It's a very positive. I've never watched that one Leo DiCaprio movie.
Blood Diamond is what it's called.
Blood Diamond? Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. So I looked up what that meant just in case, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what this means, but just in case anybody else doesn't know, it's because it wasn't fun. It didn't fund conflict or war.
Right. Yes. And I guess for further research, you can watch Blood Diamond. I don't know how accurate that one is, but yeah. And like these people go through insane things to get those diamonds, and it's really not worth it. And like human lives are on the line to get diamonds, apparently. Again, I don't know as much as I would like to, so I'll have to, do some more research if I choose to or have time. But I mean, I think on the surface level, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There is a deleted scene where Donna shows off how much she knows about diamonds, and I just think it's really funny. It's classic Donna.
Oh yeah.
I'll just play it for you.
1.2 carats, VVS2 clarity. I will give you $4,000 for this right now.
Oh, I'm not selling it.
Clever girl is worth $6,000.
And she would like literally brings out her little diamond glasses, the little tiny like glasses, and like stares like the microscope thing, and like stares down at the ring and grabs her hand. It's just really hilarious. So go Donna.
Yeah.
I wonder if she collects that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Maybe, or she just knows what she wants moving forward from Joe one day.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, so they're asking how Ben proposed, and Leslie literally starts from the beginning of Ben's bloodline. I love this though. Theodore Wyatt, a bastard. I love that
the
line
delivery.
so much.
I love it. I love that Anne, she goes, "Oh boy."
Yeah, her looks to camera is hilarious.
Yeah, and I think it's because in my head, because I put it in perspective of you and me too, is that she's already heard this.
Yeah.
She's sat through it because it was important to Leslie, and now she's like, oh gosh, I know how long this is. Damn it.
Or like she's at least heard some of it, and now she's starting at the beginning because she found more information, which is totally Leslie.
Oh, very Leslie.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yikes. But but the story is very cute. If she just did the story, I'm sure they'd all love it.
Oh my God. So crazy that she starts from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're in front of the sunflower mural. It's so cute. I love that comes back. And she's just being super loud, because, like literally loud, because she's so excited. And I absolutely love this for them. It just makes me feel so fuzzy inside that they're like sitting together in front of that mural and just like showing off how they're getting married. It's so precious.
It's perfect full circle.
100%.
I just love it. I have to say, I wish I want to, moving forward in my life, channel more of Leslie, because I think this is so beautiful that she's like, this is a big thing happening for me. I want everyone to know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't find that annoying at all. But like when I put myself in those shoes, like when Ivan and I got engaged, I showed up to work and like didn't say anything to anyone. Like I kind of was just like, I don't know if I didn't want the spotlight or I didn't want to
like
make it seem like it was all about me. Like I didn't want to come off as selfish. When it's like, this is a big thing. I should have walked in there so proud and been like super stoked, because this is a big like life moment. And, you know, we'll continue. We're only in our 30s. We'll continue to have big life moments. Like I want to channel this Leslie energy of it's okay to celebrate those with people.
Yeah, totally. Or like something that can commemorate it. Like I remember even for auditions, because I've had a lot of auditions lately and I feel like I haven't done it as much. I've been trying to get back into it. But even after auditions, I would just do like a random like little photo shoot thing, which sounds stupid, but or like go buy myself like something super cheap or whatever. I'm not really doing that anymore because I need to save money. But like just that little photo shoot thing of like, oh my God, look how like proud I am of like how I look. I did my makeup. I'm probably not going to have my makeup on. Now I'm doing like makeup on for a long time. Now I'm doing some with contacts because some agents or some auditions call for me not to wear glasses. And I'm just like, look at my ass. I put contacts on today. Okay. And I'm just like, this caused effort. And even though the audition was only like fucking 3 minutes that you guys will see, the casting people and my agent, whatever, this was a big deal to me. And some of them are like really great auditions. So yeah, I think that's great. And that's something even to me, I feel like is smaller than an engagement. I mean, maybe not. It all has its own thing. But yeah, I mean, yeah, celebrating and talking about it. I think sometimes also for me, the reason why I don't tell a lot of people stuff, even relationship wise, is because like I'm scared of like, what if it doesn't work out? And then I just got really excited about it. And then that's embarrassing that I told you about it. But that is something to really conquer on itself. Like, because even if it doesn't work out, the thing did happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to remind myself. Like and that's that whole black and white thinking of like all or nothing kind of vibe. The thing did happen. And so even if whatever happens in the future, that's not now, that's then or whenever it's happening. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can totally relate to that like you don't want to put it out there in case it doesn't work out, because like, I think there's such a negative connotation around failure.
Yeah.
And when it's really just learning, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I think,
But this is so great. And yes, I think we should definitely channel Leslie just like being super excited about everything. There is a deleted scene here actually where she's being loud, but she also has more things that she did to be more excited about it. I'll play it.
Telling everyone.
Yeah, everyone. She memorized "We're Getting Married" in Spanish,
Nos vamos a casar.
Dutch,
I ben verlust.
and Dothraki.
Mak ak mek musha.
That one was for me.
He likes that.
A lot.
I really like that
Ben.
he likes that.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah. So I wonder if the Dothraki was actually accurate. I could see it being accurate, like them looking it up.
It sounded very Dothraki.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how she like puts in an accent for each language. Like, you couldn't see it, but you probably heard it when she has like a Valencia moment when she said "Nos vamos."
Yeah, it's very Spanish, not Mexican Spanish.
Right,
Spanish.
Very Spain.
Yes.
Yeah. Hilarious though. It's so good. Well, anyway, they're telling Chris, and he is awkward and gives them a 3-person hug. And Chris, for some reason, thinks that he's the first person. Well, I say some reason, but I'm pretty positive it's because they think he's, he thinks that they're his best friends, as we learn.
Yeah. Which I will give him some of that. Like,
for Ben.
Yeah. Because Ben. But I also wrote in my notes, like, the fact that he thinks he's the first one is very funny because obviously Anne. Okay. Anne comes first. But I also wonder if Ben like didn't want to like put it on him because he knows where he's at emotionally right now and didn't want to like just text him about it or something. And so they told him in person. I don't know. But it is, that's the only reason I think that Chris should think he knew before like Andy and Donna and everybody is like because he and Ben are super tight.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do feel though, since Ben hasn't been working there, that they're not as close as they probably were. / probably don't talk as much. So I feel like for them, for Ben and Leslie, this is like not deep. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really think about who they were telling at what time. They were just kind of going around. But yeah, Chris is like, oh my God. And to your point though, the thing with, you know, I guess appeasing him or whatever, like saying, okay, yeah, you are the first person. Yay, great. Like that would be more of like where he is in his life, like, and not wanting him to break down or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But the team does such a great job, right? They go back in and like, they're like, what's happening? Okay. Yeah. We're knowing for the first time, but they're like not as stoked.
Yeah.
But they do a great, all the acting is so great there.
You're hearing about this for the first time. I love Andy. Again?
We quote that all the time.
Do you?
Yes. Like just minuscule things like, oh, Killy had a poopy diaper. I'm going to go again?
Oh, that's like, so hilarious. Oh my God.
So anytime that we can use it, just because his delivery is so wonderful.
It's so good. Oh my God. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I was looking at this, I just had to take a moment to remind myself, like, where we started with them, like, kind of hating each other, like, getting off on the wrong foot, and now they're married or getting married, and it's just, like, so insane that the arc of this relationship, it's been such a long moment, and, like, annoying at times because we're like, are they gonna get together or not? And we're just so frustrated. But yeah, it's just like such a lovely moment that I thought I needed to pause and be like, oh my God, look at how far they've come.
And I also want to point out it's realistic, right? Like sometimes in like rom-coms and stuff, it's like that shit don't happen. But it's like this is a very organic and authentic way that people could meet and then fall in love. And I think it's so wonderful.
And to your point too, it didn't happen within a day, which is what all the Hallmark movies are. My mom and I laugh about that all the time. Like, oh, can't we just find someone to love and then we fall in love within a day or two and then we move
married in a week?
Saying I love you the second time you have a date. Oh my God.
I know. Some of my romance books that I read are like that too. And I have to sit there and go through the timeline and I'm like, wait, okay, this is one of those like unrealistic, we're just here for the romance thing, you know?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
So funny.
Oh my God.
Their eyes met across the room and it was love immediately.
Oh my God. Well, and look, that does happen sometimes, but I feel like the marriage part sometimes takes a little second. Or like the actual relationship part takes a second.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you can fall in love across the room and not be compatible too.
Yeah.
That's also
real.
You
never know.
Yeah.
I did find an article though about Adam Scott because I don't know why in my head, like, okay, you might have to remind me on this, but I'm pretty positive. I thought that Adam Scott and Rob Lowe came on and they weren't sure if Adam Scott was going to stay, but I think it was Rob Lowe that was potentially not going to stay. Like he kind of came on because they wanted viewership to get higher and then everybody loved him so much and so they kept him. But I think Adam Scott was going to stay. I think
I do remember it being Chris was going to be like just there for the rest of the season.
He wasn't even going to be here, and then they got together, and I'm like, no, I think they didn't know romantically where that was going, but they but I think he was going to stay, like, as a character.
Yeah.
But anyway, I found this article, and that's kind of where that was leading. Anyway, the article says, as great as Adam Scott's portrayal is, it almost didn't happen. Scott revealed in an interview via GQ that he initially auditioned for another role before Parks and Recreation even premiered. As Adam Scott explained, I actually auditioned for the show before it was even on the air. I really wanted it, but I actually kind of blew it, and so I was obviously pretty upset. When the opportunity popped up again a couple years later, I was really excited. I had a meeting with Mike Schur, and then it all just kind of fell into place from there. Scott auditioned for the role of Josh. Who the fuck is that? Who is supposed to be a love interest for Anne. And interestingly enough, Nick Offerman also auditioned for this role before being cast as the gruff yet lovable Ron Swanson. It's possible that the character of Josh ended up turning into Mark Brendanowitz, Anne's boyfriend, who was played by Paul Schneider. So that's very intriguing.
That is really interesting. I would love to know the timeline around all that and who Josh really was and what was happening.
I could totally see Josh being like turning it into the
Mark
Brendanowitz situation. And then I know that Adam Scott left Party Down, the show that was happening for Parks and Rec, because they weren't sure if Party Down was going to be picked up. So he was like, well, I've got this other opportunity. So sorry, but I got to go to where the, the security is, I think. And also this is like, and that would make sense if he had auditioned for it before it was even on the air, because then he knew about it, which would get him even more excited about it and be like, oh my God, I already met with Mike Schur, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I thought that was pretty fascinating. So
yeah.
And to know that Nick Offerman auditioned for that, come on, that's so hilarious.
Yeah.
So much. And that, again, just proving everything works out the way it's supposed to, because Ron was Nick Offerman, not Josh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whoever Josh was. So yeah. All right. Now we're in the courtyard planning the engagement party that they're going to have with Ben's parents. Whole crux of the show. Ben has 2 requests: to put Twizzlers on the candy table and to cancel the party because his parents are divorced and can't be in the same room together. And that's sad.
Yeah, that is sad. And go ahead. And all that.
Okay, well, I think now is when we can get into the Twizzlers Red Vine situation. Okay. I will say the thing I think that it kind of equates to, and maybe this will not make sense to most people, but it almost equates to like, if you grew up with your family / community loving a sports team, and so you just kind of like
go
along with it, and you're like, okay, whatever, and don't really have for me, don't really have an opinion on it until maybe later. I grew up as a Twizzlers person. My family grew up as a Twizzlers person. I will say that. But I don't know if that's really like my stance on this. And it's so hilarious that this is not a super important thing.
We should have bought them and taste tested them on the episode.
Great idea. But you know what I will say, though? I think that, I don't know, I feel like I was just imagining tasting them. I feel like red vines are like thicker, and I don't know if they're more flavorful, but they're more thick, and they just like have a little bit more like, I don't know, oomph to them, I feel.
You can use them as a straw.
Oh, interesting.
I've done that.
Okay.
No, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and I just feel like Twizzlers also have like a little bit more waxy, but also red vines are waxy too. So I don't know. I feel like if someone was to ask me, I would say Twizzlers just because that's what I kind of grew up with. But I'm really not mad about red vines either. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was raised red vine.
Okay.
I was raised
Is it
red
a Midwest
vine family.
Thing?
Ooh, I wonder. No, because they're from Minnesota.
Iowa. Oh yeah, Minnesota. I mean.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it really is just a family thing. So Ivan didn't grow up with them in his house. But he's a Twizzlers person. Like he's tasted them both and he prefers Twizzlers. And I'm like, no, we're a red vine family. I've had the very exact same line that I stole from Leslie. That was like,
and you know what? Thinking about it, I didn't have it in my house. It was like, I wonder if there was any sort of like agreement, because I only remember really getting them at like the movie theater.
Huh.
That is what that brings back to me, is movie theater snacks is a Twizzler.
That's funny because that's when we would have it. Is during the movies. And like at home, like we would have them when we were watching movies. We would watch them.
And then at Halloween they'd have those like I don't know if they really had them like when they first started, but the little tiny Twizzlers or tiny red vines that come in small packs, like fun packs or whatever, snack size. Those I remember during Halloween, but other than that, I don't know.
I think there's a compatibility. Yeah, definitely, and we'll come back to it. But I think there's a compatibility component here, because my mom, obviously a red vines person, and my stepdad Randy is Twizzlers too.
Interesting.
So we have 3 partnerships here: Ivan and me, Mom and Randy, and you and me, that are split.
Yeah.
But I think it works.
Interesting. Oh my God, that is wild. Yeah. I couldn't say that I'm feeling as strong as Leslie does. Like, you're gonna have to get used to that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's strong.
Yeah, but I still like I think that I need to taste both of them and really decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll have to use red vines as a straw. That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'd die of a sugar coma now at the age of 9, putting it in a soda. Yeah, it's great.
I will say I did put the poll up on Instagram and Twizzlers did win. So I feel like it's almost like an Oreo Hydrox situation in a way where Twizzlers was just like, I don't know which one came first, to be honest with you. I Googled it and there was a lot of conflicting information. So I feel like they came out relatively similar times, but maybe someone who wants to deep dive that a little bit more. Because one site that I found said that it was like late 1800s or something. I was like, is that real?
Holy
That's not right.
crap.
But then one said like 1948, and I was like, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like sugar was a little bit more. It's not late 1800s. That cannot be right. So, anyways, yeah, I want to actually. I'll look up. Okay, you guys skip ahead 15 seconds if you need to. I wanted to look up what I found. Okay. Yeah, Twizzlers were the first of the 2 candies to be invented. It was created in 1845, making it one of the oldest candies in the country. And then it said Red Vines was with the American Licorice Company, which produces red vines. But then this other site says Twizzlers were first produced in 1929. So which is it? Is it 1929 or 1845?
Yeah, those are like 80 years apart. That's not even like a 10-year discrepancy that we can just like blow away.
Oh, this is a good description. It says red vines are toothsome and soft, while Twizzlers have a slick, almost plasticky consistency. That's true.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, there is one thing that says that the Twizzlers one is one of the oldest candies. So I think Twizzlers were first. I'm going to say Twizzlers were first.
That sounds right. And I've heard people use the term Twizzler just to explain licorice rather than actually being Twizzler the brand. It's just like, that's licorice.
Yeah. And I also really like the the red licorice. Like, I do not like black licorice. That tastes
I was literally just about to tell you that. I hate black licorice. It's disgusting.
No, I cannot deal with black licorice. The red vines, if anyone's curious, red vines and Twizzlers is a raspberry flavoring, just FYI.
Yeah.
Oh, it says originally they were called raspberry vines, not red vines.
Oh.
1950. Okay, 1950 for red vines, the American Licorice Company. What? Twizzlers are most commonly strawberry flavored via Hersheyland. Okay, so it's either strawberry or raspberry. You know what? There's a lot of conflicting information on here. Nobody knows.
Oh, we need someone who has the inside deets.
That is hilarious. Okay, this makes sense. Corn syrup makes sense. Wheat flour, sugar, cornstarch, palm oil, salt, artificial flavoring, literally all the terrible things ever.
I don't want to hear this.
Okay, we're going to exit out of that. We're just going to say Twizzlers was first, and whatever your preference is, don't let it ruin your relationship with your spouse's parents.
Yes.
But yeah, people, to conclude, I do think that I wish I could have a larger, a larger pool of people to poll so I can make sure. But I will say, of the polls that I have posted, that one got a lot of traction, way more traction than it has. So I think Twizzlers and Red Vines is actually kind of like not contentious, but it's a topic of conversation. It's a thing. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
People don't have to think about it either. When you see that,
gosh, that's
like
true.
you're already,
it's a
split. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else to say about the Twizzlers versus Red Vines?
No, but I do have something else in this scene.
Okay. The last thing I honestly have is just about Larry Bird not coming.
Yeah. I hope he at least sends a gift. People do that.
Style.
They'll send.
I know,
They'll send invites to like famous people and just hope they get a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel right doing that, so I didn't. But
yeah.
People definitely said do it.
I want to know how accurate that is. I'm just going to start sending out invitations and see what happens.
Do it.
Anyways, go ahead.
How do we feel about Leslie inviting Ben's parents when it obviously sounds like he wasn't really part of that decision making?
Yeah, I am intrigued. That's a great question. I have this as a note later. I feel like it's weird that they didn't meet before the engagement party.
I also agree with that. I also have that note later. Yeah.
or something, or maybe come over, or I don't know, do something. Even if it's the same weekend, because obviously they're probably traveling. Even if it's the same weekend, but like hang out together and meet each other before this, and so that the engagement party is not so much pressure. And then if they like fuck up at the dinner, then like, okay, bye. We will not see you at the engagement party.
Yeah.
I guess I understand. That's true. I didn't even really think about that. Like, Ben clearly is uncomfortable and doesn't want this to happen. So I don't know, but I understand Leslie wanting to like meet them and, you know, try to all be in the same room together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think her intentions are in the right spot, right? And if you don't have divorced parents, I think it's hard for you to envision what that looks like.
Yeah.
That, you know, how contentious it can be. I mean, I'm lucky my parents are not the same as what are their names again? Oh my gosh.
Steve and Julia.
Thank you. Steve and Julia. They're such like common used names too. My bad. That's pretty extreme. Like I feel very lucky that that's not my situation. But I think if you haven't lived through that, you also like in Leslie's eyes, right? She doesn't necessarily see how bad it could be because she doesn't have divorced parents. So I think, you know, I don't think she's trying to steamroll, but it sounds a little bit like in this episode, she kind of is because she just wants to make it work. I think her heart's in the right place. This doesn't feel as like the negative-y steamrolly like we have had in the past from her. Yeah. But I think I agree with you completely. I had that note later too. Why are they just now meeting? They live in Minnesota. That's like drivable.
Yeah. Seems
why
weird.
have they not met before Ben proposed, right? But yeah, I kind of feel bad for Ben though, because the anxiety that comes with this situation that they're creating on a night that's supposed to be a celebration of the two of them kind of sucks.
It does. No, that's totally true. And I think, I mean, a part of me kind of explains it with their age range. A lot of times I feel like if you're older, it's like we don't have to like do the whole like meet and greet, like I'm asking for her hand, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Unless it's like your tradition, whatever. But still, I still feel like, you know, if they're getting engaged, I do feel like they could have like had a moment before the party. But obviously that's not good TV. So I don't know. Yeah. But in real life, it would be much better to have their own little separate moment. Or maybe it's worse. Maybe it'd be worse if they were just them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe they were held back in the public setting, which is scary to think about.
I know. So, yeah. Well, anyway, do you have anything else to say about that, though?
No.
Okay. Well, John Ralphio's back, which is exciting. And Tom is making a presentation to Andy and April to test it out before he shows it to Ron. It's for the Rent-A-Swag business that we learned about in the last episode from the yard sale. According to Parks and Recollection, I'm pretty positive that this was originally called Tom's Closet or Tommy's Closet, and they didn't have the name Rent-A-Swag yet. So that's really exciting, and because Rent-A-Swag is so great.
And then they use Tommy's Closet later. So
yeah, they do.
Way to utilize your brainstorming skills there.
That's so true. So Tom and John Ralphio do their usual presentation. First of all, I didn't really realize that John Ralphio would be in on this, like as I was watching it, like as a newbie or whatever. I was like, why is John Ralphio here again? And I was like, oh, right. They do technically consider themselves business partners.
Well, and do we know, is John Ralphio, like they don't mention it, but a lot of times John Ralphio's the cash.
Right. That's fair. But I mean, why would they be asking for an investment?
He doesn't have enough. Like, remember when they're trying to buy into the bar, the Snake Hole Lounge? They have a chunk of money, but they don't have enough.
Yeah. I think at this point, I don't know. I feel like at this point, John Ralphio doesn't have any money because he spent it all on 720, Entertainment 720, and he's technically homeless and, and all these things.
Oh, good
So
points.
I feel like he doesn't have any money at this point. Like, he's just kind of living off of Tom. Which is weird because you would think, because we haven't established like him and his dad's relationship yet, I feel. Right. So I think at
we
this
don't know
point,
who his dad is.
Right. I think at this point they're just needing an investment, and John Ralphio is just being insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean,
we love having him back anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And, they do their usual thing with the presentation, lights, dancing, like a rave, basically. I do love the choreographed, like, skier jumps that they're doing. Like, you rent it, you wear it, you clean it, you return it, or whatever. Like, that's kind of fun to me, but totally not Ron, as April points out. She's making really good points. Like, don't bring up failed businesses, dummy. Ron wouldn't like a light show, like, all these things.
We're seeing huge smarts from April here. Mm-hmm. Like, in the fact that we're seeing, like, she cared, like, she could not say anything. Mm-hmm. And she could be like, cool, leave, like, but she obviously cares about Tom and seeing him find success in this. And you're right. Like, this is great feedback. The disco balls, Holly, like, what about that says Ron to them? I'm pretty sure I had one of those as a kid.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. You probably did.
Yeah. So,
or like a lava lamp type of situation. It kind of reminds you of that.
Yeah.
I also like the John Ralphio song, the "Where your swag is my business and your business is my swag." I thought that was really funny.
I want to know how much of that was improv.
I know. Great call. Oh my God.
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah, and I also love the whole Andy thing. Like, yeah, you're right, babe. You're so smart.
Yeah,
she's like,
this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, totally.
No.
But April basically ends it by saying, like, if you do any of that, you're not going to get Ron's investment. So now Tom's kind of in a pickle, which we'll see a little bit later on.
Yeah, he talks about having to, like, I'm going to have to cut this and the things tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. But in my head, I'm like, well, hopefully it's not that much because he should already have the business plan, right? And it's just changing the presentation aspect of it. But maybe he's realizing, like, ooh, I don't know if I even have the information Ron would want.
That's how I feel it is. I feel like he has to change everything.
Yeah.
And that's why he has to stay up all night.
Like,
he didn't have a business plan. He didn't have, like, a funding situation. Like, he probably didn't have any of that. He was just like, let me just flash some lights in his face and, he'll like that kind of thing.
And give me money. Mm-hmm. Like, he probably doesn't even have a certain amount he needs.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, well, I am wondering, I mean, I guess it's a neutral space, but I was kind of wondering why they're having this at Andy and April's house. It felt weird to me.
Is Ben's stuff not still there?
Oh, is it?
I feel like he still has his room there because later Chris is playing
it's still
with
Chris's.
April's reading a Batman comic later.
Yeah.
So I think he still has his stuff there.
Chris's room like the room that Chris is in when he's crying and stuff is Ben's probably. Okay, that makes sense. It felt out of place because I hadn't seen it in a while, I guess. Because we had wondered, there was a moment where we wondered if that last episode with Andy and April's house was the last time, and it's not, apparently.
No, yeah. So I think he's probably in the process because he's just gotten back from Washington, D.C. I guess we don't really know.
That's true.
Well, it's gotta be quick because they're just now telling everyone. So he probably hasn't moved into his stuff because we're not talking weeks between the engagement and now. It's got to be days.
Oh, 100%. Well, because he comes home like spontaneously, you know what I mean, to propose.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay. That answers my question. Okay.
Yeah.
I also love that Ben is still just trying to get out of this, even though the party is literally already set up.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. And Leslie is just planning and controlling the whole situation. And honestly, it does sound great at first. Like, as far as like the chilled wine, my mom and her mom or your mom are both educators. Like, everything sounds like on paper, this will go great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's assuming that everybody is civil and like normal, and they're just not.
And again, she's coming from this mindset of not really understanding what that family situation could look like.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Her heart's in the right place.
I know.
Also I love her dress.
Oh,
sorry.
I do too. No. I loved
so
everybody's
pretty.
outfits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. It's so good.
Anne's is great.
Anne's dress. Yeah. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
I love it too.
It's great.
Did you notice the fancy like silver chafing dishes? Like, she's having this whole thing catered. It's like a huge thing. I was like,
I noticed the caterers.
That's fancy as hell. Like,
my
I was
favorite
just expecting more of like the tin kind of, plasticky aluminum things. But no, this is like, she's going in.
This is next level. And I'm sure the caterers walked into that house and they were like, we're catering here?
What? Oh my God. I love the no Wyatt Unity quilt. It is so perfect. Oh my God. I love a quilt so much. There's a name for everyone. Julia, Marlene, Henry, Steve, Leslie, Lil Sebastian. Indiana is on there. USA, Game of Thrones. The smallest park is on there. I saw that little picture. I do have to tell people. It is so special. Oh my God. Henry, I did not know who some of these people were, but Henry and Stephanie are Ben's siblings.
Cool. Okay.
Which we'll meet later. You don't know that, and we don't have.
We only meet one of them, though, right?
We meet two of them during the Partridge episode. There's two. I thought.
I think it's just Stephanie.
Oh.
I don't think we meet his brother.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe. Okay. Now I think I might be crazy.
I don't know. We'll definitely see.
We'll get there. Yeah.
We definitely meet Stephanie. I don't know why in my head I'm imagining a man there too. Maybe it's his. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. We'll get there. But it also says Georgia. I saw that there was a Georgia one, and I didn't understand why. And there's a tire swing. But I think it's like Stephanie has the tire swing.
Okay.
But honestly, I was trying to look up like everything or trying to understand everything, and I was like, there's too many people to understand every piece of this.
Could Georgia be another sibling?
I don't know. It's okay. Everything's beautiful though. It looks great.
And there's a little Joe Biden.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, you did right there. She was like, I didn't include the other sexy guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a small one. Doesn't count.
Yeah. Doesn't really count.
But it does look so beautiful. And shout out to the props master, Gabe Perello, who also created all the book titles that you saw, like Limitless and Ben's thing, and it was like a Zero Dark 20 or something like that, and it was something like a play on those words. Like the props department is amazing here, and she did say that, like, I saw an article too that said like that was one of her most favorite things that she's created for this, which I agree. It's so beautiful and so perfect.
Yeah, so well done.
But anyway, so Anne makes this lovely toast about being supportive of Ben and Leslie. It's so nice. And it really strikes Chris. Like, he makes this thoughtful expression. And I'm just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Are you trying to think about getting back with Anne? Like, what are you thinking here? And as we learn, it's not that. It's just that he's like going through his therapy moment and his emotional like self-discovery situation.
Yeah. And I'm glad it's not. I'm glad that we take a break here from Chris wanting to be with Anne.
Too.
Like, they both need time to themselves, like Anne brings up later. So
yeah,
I'm glad it doesn't turn into I just want to be with Anne thing again.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful speech. It's a beautiful little moment. There is a deleted scene where all of them go around like saying something, but it's like not really. I mean, it's cute, but this is way more powerful, I feel. And then we also get the like, don't you dare hurt her thing, and everyone is so serious about it. Like, we're serious. Don't hurt her.
Oh my gosh. It's giving me not to the same degree, but it's giving me Holly Maid of Honor vibes.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like,
I mean,
just,
the speeches. But...
Yeah. Just so people, Holly, as most of you know, was my maid of honor, and she gave just a beautiful speech. And
that's nice.
And it was just such a beautiful. It felt very Anne and Leslie, and I loved it so much. And it was a very like, I don't know, just the quotes kind of give off that same vibe, but like, it was so wonderful. And I was just, when I hear that now, I'm like, oh, that sounds like Holly.
That is nice. Oh my God. Yeah, I definitely remember saying some Parks and Rec quotes, and I'm sure most of the crowd was like, what the fuck is she saying?
That's okay, because you know who it's for.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I know this, and I did like half and half. Like, half was for them, and the other half was inside jokes, and I think that's perfectly perfect.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Somebody came up though. It was one of the bridesmaids, I'm sure. I don't remember who it was, but or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Somebody came up and said that they knew what I was talking about. So, but that's also good. Like, I do feel like, you know, it's so stupid. Okay, again, skip ahead 15 seconds if you need to, people. But I do feel like there are certain crowds that will like give you the energy like right back to you. But like that crowd wasn't really like into being loud about like how much they supported or like laughed or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep going because Maddie gets it.
I totally got it. I was over there laughing.
Oh my God.
Also, to help you a little bit, like, half the room, well, at least 40 people that were there were, were Spanish speaking only, or or haven't seen the show because of that, or don't understand our humor. So like, yeah. But it meant the world to me, and that's what matters.
Yay! Okay, good. I do love, though, the part where like Ben is like, "Well, what are you talking about? Why would you guys are all my friends too?" And I love April. Meh. And like she says it out loud, but everyone else kind of has that thought. I feel like on their face, like,
which I feel
even Jerry chiming in of that.
I know. April just came from working with Ben for the summer too, like having that extreme one-on-one time. So I feel like it hurts a little bit more coming from her, because it's like, if there's anyone who's kind of falling in between, wouldn't it be April? I mean, Chris should be on Ben's side.
That's true.
But
I didn't even think of that. Oh my God. Chris has his own shit.
Yeah, he's dealing with his own stuff. That's fair.
And then, well, speaking of him and Donna are like hugging again because Chris gets emotional. And I just love that. Like, come here, baby boy.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
You take all the time you need.
Yes. Oh my God. And then, oh my gosh, Ben has this Star Trek convo going. And I think, who is he talking to? I think is it Donna?
And is it Jerry?
I
only remember Donna because she goes, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Because his mom is coming in, so that interrupts the Star Trek conversation.
Yeah.
And then, this is where my note is as far as like, shouldn't they have met beforehand? Like, that feels a little strange that they're just now introducing each other. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, sorry, because this is like right before we get into this scene, they show a shot of outside the house.
Uh-huh.
And there's one car.
Oh, really?
How is there only one car parked outside that house?
That's so hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a goof.
Yeah.
Unless everyone took the one Pawnee taxi. Yeah. Or they all
and that's why it was
in the
already
same
there.
Car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, that's
My gosh.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, I have to shout out, Julia is played by the actress Glenn Headley, and unfortunately she passed away in 2017. It's so sad.
Do you know that it was 4 years and 6 months to the day that
that's what they said.
This episode aired?
Crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. She does such a great job. The very like stoic but whiny and trying to be loving and
yeah. Well, and she was young too. She was 62, and it said she had a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
I know, it really is. And she was in so many things. Oh my God. I the thing I remember her most from though is Mr. Holland's Opus. Did you watch that?
No.
Oh my God, you would love it. You have to watch that movie. Like, that needs to go to the top of your list, or like at least top 5. It's a music movie, and the son is deaf, and so he tries to find a way to communicate with him. And the mom, Glenn Headley, who plays Julia, is the parent that actually learns sign language and kind of like connects with him more. And Mr. Holland doesn't really do that. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe this was just like where, I don't know, maybe this was just my experience, but I do feel like a lot of people who were in chorus or orchestra or whatever, that was like a movie that was played during those classes sometimes when like we didn't have anything else to do, or the teacher just didn't want to do much because it's a music show or movie. But yeah, you should totally watch it. It's great. And I'm pretty positive, what's his name? The main guy, Mr. Holland of Mr. Holland's Opus, is the Jurassic Park guy.
Sam Neill? Or the other guy?
See. Oh, maybe not. It's Richard Dreyfuss. What else has he been in? He's been in so many things. Oh my God. No, wait. No. I don't know.
He's in Jaws.
Jaws. That's what it is. Jaws.
Also
He's the Jaws
Spielberg.
guy.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like he looks like the guy. He's not. He looks like the guy that was in, oh my gosh, Miracle on 34th Street. The
Santa?
Yeah, the Santa, but he's not. They're all just like white hair guys.
Yeah. That movie, I think, came out in like 39.
Well, there's a couple different versions of it.
That's true.
The
one I saw was black and white.
Okay, yeah, that was a different one. I always watched the one with the gal who played Matilda.
Yeah.
And anyway, I love that guy. Anyway,
1947, by the way, is the black and white one. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. But anyway, she was in that movie. She was in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Psych, Monk, Grey's Anatomy, so many amazing things. So pour one out for her because she did a great job in this one for sure. Ben is clearly in distress, and Leslie tries to smooth it over by handing her the wine, which again, okay, it's smoothed over for the time being. It's good because the dad isn't there yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that little nervous laugh.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Nod thing that Adam does.
It's so good.
Is so perfect.
Yeah. Oh my God. Anne comes outside to see Chris crying, and I love that she tries to run away before he gets to see her.
I know. Part of me is like, Anne, you see he's hurting. And then the other part of me is like, if I was in that position, I was throwing your engagement party. I was trying to keep everything under wraps. I don't have time to take this on too. Like,
yeah. Well,
and he's in his own moment. Like,
Yeah.
some people don't want to be found crying like that, you know?
Yeah, and especially like since he's been going through this for like a little bit, it's like, okay, I have other things to attend to. I know I'm going to get sucked in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is
sucks,
what happens.
But he does see her. And I do think that he's right at the height / in the middle of the storm with his therapy session. So like, you know, I do get it. And I as much as he's like, you know, going through this, I do think it's funny that the tissue runs out and him saying everything ends and everything goes away. It's so perfect.
It's so relatable.
Yeah. Yes, we can all relate to that emotion. Oh my God. So good. And being just like so raw and like a live wire of like whatever bad happens is just like,
yeah, that's so real. And I think it's such a good representation. I think some people who maybe haven't done therapy a ton or haven't done therapy at all, you know, you think about it as a appointment once a week or once every other week, right? But your therapy is happening at all times, whether you're in with the therapist or not, because you still have to be working on shit. And so even though he's not with the doctor right now, it's like he's still like open.
Yeah.
And like an open book and like all
Open
this stuff
wound.
is the wound. Sorry. That's way better than open book.
No, but I mean, open book is true too. Yeah. He's not
but-
letting anything,
No,
you know,
everybody
like,
knows what's
be
going
filtered.
on.
It's like,
But yeah, so I think that's, you know, it's such a good representation and relatable for people who have done therapy to that extent and everything.
Yeah. Well, Marlene is back, which is exciting. I love Pamela Reed. I wish that we used her all of the time. Just a reminder that she's amazing. And online it says that this is her last episode. And I was like, what? No.
What? No way.
That's what it says online. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, let's because
nobody. Okay, we'll get to this later, but I'm just gonna say it now. Speaking of Pamela Reed, none of the parents actually come to the wedding. So
right. Well, because it was spontaneous. It's spontaneous, but it also makes sense. Why would she not be there? Because she lives there.
What do you mean?
Like Marlene. Like it makes sense because the wedding is spontaneous.
Oh yeah.
And so it makes sense that Ben's parents aren't there.
Oh yeah.
But why is Marlene not there?
Well, because they don't invite anybody. It's just the Parks people. You know what I mean? Like they don't.
Oh
even
yeah,
tell
I'm talking
anyone.
about the hopeful wedding that they almost have. Like Marlene isn't even there.
Right. Well, I'm just saying like they don't show that hopeful wedding, you know what I mean? So like they're not going to have like I think this might be her last episode.
Wow.
Like again, we'll get there, but I guess we'll just keep an eye. I know
she's so great. I also like I think I mentioned this in like our first episode with her. But I think there's just such a beauty in this episode with her and Leslie.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, she's really shown to be kind of like a cold mom that just wants, you know, if Leslie succeeds, then that's where the love's coming from.
Yeah.
And it really, really transformed. And now we kind of just see her as she's a mom. She does come across as this mom. And they have this moment later that we can talk about too, that just like, I'm so glad Leslie has that. And I think in the beginning, it didn't look like that's what their relationship was. So I'm really happy it transformed into this.
Totally. I totally agree. Especially with the whole like her flirting with Ben and just like the arc that they show. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Because okay, so everything is going surprisingly well, and then Ben's dad comes in and brings his girlfriend. Pack it up, it's over. We're screwed.
Yikes.
Oh my God. The great Jonathan Banks plays Ben's dad.
Yeah,
Most
so
people,
good.
including me, know him from Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, the spinoff. He actually does a ton of voiceover work too, which of course he would. He has a great voice for that.
Great voice.
Oh my God. And fun fact that I learned online, he attended at Indiana University in Bloomington.
Yeah, I saw that. Beautiful campus. I did
never
apply
seen
to go
it.
there. Yeah.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And I'm sure since you saw that, you also saw that he's 33 years older than the actress who plays his girlfriend.
Yes. Double yikes.
And 8 years older than Julia.
Mhm.
But
More
his
manageable.
girlfriend, though, yeah, a little bit. His girlfriend, though, is played by Kulap. I can never say her last name, Vilisa something. But she has a great podcast right now called
Nice.
Oh my God, it's so great. And it's called Add to Cart, and it's about consumerism and what's worth like the mental monetary investment. And she's really hilarious. But I just wanted to mention that first. And she's like friends with all the comedy people that you could ever imagine, like all the podcasts that I listen to. Like she's either been on it or they talk about her, but she's awesome. And you'll obviously know her from The Office, which a lot of people would know her from, where in the Benihana episode, from taking the Christmas
Michael.
bike. Yeah, I know.
Marks her arm.
Oh my God, that is so awful.
It's bad.
A lot of The Office is really bad, to be completely frank. But
I think if you watched it, not saying it's right, but like if you started watching it years and years ago, it sits different than if you start it now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Friends. There's definitely some episodes in Friends where you watch it and you're like, if this aired, this would never air now.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
yes,
she's been in Bob's Burgers, Reno 911, a bunch of stuff. And she's also the creator and writer on a show called Bajillion Dollar Properties with Paul F. Tompkins, who's also in the comedy world, super great. So she has done a lot of stuff. And this whole like guest cast here is just phenomenal. And the way they all work together and just in general, what their backgrounds, what they're bringing to the show, it's so good. I love it so much.
Did you see that she interviewed for or auditioned for April's part?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she totally could have been like related to April or
oh my gosh, I think she does a great job.
To her.
The Ulani is like season 1 April.
Totally. What does Ulani mean? Cheerful. I love that
of
so
course.
Much.
Yeah.
Sure. I love that. Yeah, she totally could have had some connection to her. To April.
Has this ever happened to you where your dad has shown up with a girlfriend when you didn't know that the girlfriend was coming?
I not like an event, but I've been introduced to many a girlfriend over FaceTime that I was like, I was just having a conversation with you, Dad. And then he's like, I want you to meet someone. Oh my God. Okay, hi.
Yeah, hi. I wasn't ready for this, but
okay. And most of the time the girlfriends are like chill about it. They're not weird. But still, I'm just like, this is not, what are you doing, bro? Like, come on. So weird.
Do we think that this is the first time Ben's meeting Ulani?
I don't think so.
It sounds like they've been together a while. Like, that Ben's familiar and he knows that they're together.
Yeah. So but definitely didn't anticipate her coming to this.
No.
So, and oh my God, Julia, though, your father brought his little plaything. Oh, it's so bad. It's so awkward.
I like that's something, Julia, that you say when you're recounting the event to your best friends.
Right.
Like not in front of your son and in front of them.
The plaything.
Yeah. So rude.
And I mean, I was watching this and I mean, to his credit, even though he's really gruff and rough, I feel like it does seem like he loves Ben. Like he calls him Benny, he hugs him. He's like excited to see him, but he's just like a rough and tumble kind of guy. And like, I can't imagine Ben being raised with that. You know what I mean? When he's not that vibe or that energy, you know?
No,
which I think a lot of people can relate to. Like their parents just being so different from them.
Yeah. I think, kids are resilient, right? Like he found ways he dove into his Batman and his comics and his, Dungeons and Dragons. And that was his, his coping. And this is now how we now have Ben. Although when we meet his sister later too, they have very similar temperaments. Yeah. So I wonder if they leaned on each other a lot too, like as we know that you do in divorce, you lean on your sibling a lot and you kind of grow together.
Yeah, if you can. I mean, we're really lucky. Oh my God.
Yeah. Absolutely. Super blessed with that. So,
crazy.
So I think you make a great point that I didn't think about is how did Ben come from these two people?
Yeah, it's wild. Well, this is where we spark some tension for sure, because technically Ulani, the girlfriend, wasn't invited. So that starts a whole thing. And Leslie tries to give red vines to smooth things over. And Steve is like, no.
We're Twizzlers family.
Very seriously too. Not a joke, not like no thanks. it's a serious moment.
I love that Leslie and Steve are on the same, Steve.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are on the same level.
Like intensity
on
level.
the licorice.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
That, I vibe with that. I love that also Leslie, who's a super control person, right? She's like, oh, well, Lonnie's here. We're going to fix it. You know, like the love that she has for Ben and making this work is like above her control freakery. And it's just so great that we see this in her, that she's the stable, we're going to make this work person here. Even though things aren't going the way she wants them to.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, I know. These people hurt each other to have this much after, what did Ben say? Like they've been divorced for like 30 years.
I don't know, something like that. Yeah, Julia even brings up something about, she just says the way he behaved at somebody's graduation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something going on. It's weird.
Yeah. Unresolved feelings for sure. They need to go to therapy with Chris.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, God. Yeah, they just can't be adults about it, which is the worst part. But this is where Ben literally pays a cab to sit outside and wait so they can escape whenever. And Leslie's like, no, we're going to figure it out. And what do they like to talk about? So we can talk about it. And I love Ben's description of what his parents' interests are. They're white people from Minnesota. So hockey, skiing, sailing, fishing. After a couple drinks, put on a Prince album.
Yeah.
Do not mention the Packers or Iowa.
Okay. So I get the Packers. Okay. I totally get the Packers, especially in this time frame, right? It's kind of like the Patriots for the New England teams. Like the Packers were so dominant in that conference of football, like that the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions have done jack shit for so many years because the Packers have been so dominant during this time frame, right? So I get that. I looked it up. I can't find anywhere where Minnesotans don't like Iowa.
Interesting.
So, but I did read a couple things that were like the Midwestern states can be very like, we're better than each other.
Oh, like competition.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my friend. My friend's from Iowa. Maybe I'll text her and just say like, do you have any contention with Minnesota?
Yeah.
Or does your family have any contention with Minnesota?
Because I didn't like growing up in Illinois. I was never told we don't like Indiana, or anything like that. So it's interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, thought that was hilarious. Great delivery from Adam.
Totally. Great Ben episode. Great Ben episode. Well, Anna's trying to take care of Chris and trying to keep his sadness away from the party because she's like talking to Leslie and saying like, how are things going? I love Leslie's. Everything's terrible, but we're going to get through it. Because I feel like I do that a lot. You know, with a happy face. Like everything's awful, but we're going to do our best.
I think it subconsciously keeps you in a positive headspace.
Yeah, kind of.
Rather than like being like, it's terrible.
I hate
like,
everything.
You know? Then you're like sinking into the terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love that.
Yeah. And then we see that GIF that I know that I use a lot. I know a lot of people use it. And it's another like nopeism of Anne's like complimenting you are beautiful, talented, brilliant, powerful musk ox. Thank you, ox.
Thank you, ox.
I love that so much.
Oh, and
I did look
she
it
just
up.
goes with it.
Yeah, she just goes with it. She just has a weird face and is like, okay. I mean, I'm sure being called like a starfish and I don't know, squirrel, whatever she said.
I would miss it though, you know, like
totally.
we use those lines with each other occasionally, but I think if you were using them with me like on a weekly basis and then all of a sudden I'd be like,
yeah, it is one of those things like what April does too. Like I act like I don't like it, but really it's great. It makes me feel happy.
Yeah.
I did look it up though in a muskox. I totally I knew what an oxen was or what oxen were, but I didn't really know what the muskox looked like.
Me either.
And it says it's native to the Arctic. It's very like furry looking, kind of like especially around the head, like kind of like a lion's mane situation. But it looks like a mix between an elk and a buffalo. Like
it's actually pretty.
Like the little, it has tusks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so it's really,
they look like hair.
Yeah. And they're very powerful, apparently. So that makes sense. That
I wouldn't want to meet one of these in the middle of a field. That looks like that'll plow into me.
Yeah.
Not in a good way.
Anyway, Anne tries to get everyone to help Andy and April to help Chris feel better, and they're like, "Oh my God, Andy's like being this child thing. Why? What?"
So many follow-up questions.
Yeah. Why don't you date Chris? I'm dating myself. God, Anne, selfish.
Why is it always about you, Anne? Although, like, I'm totally with Anne. Yeah,
I am too. Oh my God,
I think she's doing the right
April's
thing.
Just being stupid.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ron at the food table, and Tom comes up to say, Ron in 60 seconds. What does that mean? Did you know what that reference was?
No.
Like on in 60 seconds? Like, you know how they say that in, like, if you're going on air? Okay, we're on in 60 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Ron in 60
Could
seconds?
be.
I don't know.
I didn't get that either. I also don't get John Ralphio's reference in a second either.
What does he say?
So it's the whole vibe he goes on with the 21 gun salute. I did not write down the whole thing he says.
Oh, the free association thing. I just free associated all over the mustache. Yeah. I didn't really follow it, to be honest.
Yeah, that also went over my head.
I honestly wasn't even really paying attention that much to what he was saying. I was just like, okay, John Ralphio's doing his thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ron says he's always looking for investments, talking about, Tom's new business and how much he's invested in gold. And now he has a, quote, certain amount of money. And his look of like, oh my God, I've already said too much. You know what I mean? Which, okay, this is going to sound so dumb, Maddie. I understand this. But I guess I needed this sentence to understand, gold is worth more than dollars. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's so rich. I don't know why I thought that gold was just like a type of currency or just like, I don't know, like you can just use that to pay for whatever, but like he's investing in it because it's worth more. And I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. And that's why he like buries it everywhere. And that's how he has like $800 bajillion. Yeah. I think this, like that sentence, that line, talking head from Ron really made a lot of shit click into place. And I was like, if he's invested all his money in that and doesn't spend money on any like clothes or actual things, oh duh, of course. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah. It gave you the visual that you needed.
Yeah. Also, like, I did not do this deep dive, but I really wanted to. I just didn't have the time. But like, could we invest in gold? Like, is it still worth more money?
Can I just Google it right now? Can you invest in gold?
Can we be as rich as Ron if we just invest some money in gold? Like, is that the same? It can't be the same as crypto.
So here we go. Okay. There are several ways to invest in gold. Physical gold. You can buy physical gold in the form of coins, bullion. I don't know what that word is. Or jewelry from banks and precious metal dealers. However, storing and insuring physical gold can be expensive. That's why he buries it. Gold exchange traded funds. These funds replicate the price of gold and are a popular way of beginners to invest in gold. Gold mining companies. You can buy shares of a gold mining company. Futures and options. You can trade futures and options in the commodities market. Gold certificates. You can invest in gold certificates, which I don't know what gold certificates are, but there are several ways to do so. You want going on some gold?
Yeah, honestly, I just wonder how much it's worth. Like, is it worth as much as Ron is saying nowadays? You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you measure gold? Carats? No, that's diamonds. How do you measure
No,
gold?
you do measure it in gold. There's like, yeah, because like jewelry says 24 karat gold.
Yeah. You're right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. It's in the Bruno Mars song.
Well, that's 24 karat diamonds. In the song.
My brain.
but I did see, no, it all makes sense. I just have seen jewelry measured that way too, like gold chains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay.
Just for information, a price of a gram of gold is $80. So
I guess if you have a whole bar.
I'm sure it goes up though.
I don't know. This sounds risky.
A whole bar is going to be a lot.
Since I don't know what I'm doing.
I know.
Ron, come here.
Help. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
we learned
I also
something.
love that Ron had, yeah, totally. He has a bacon wrapped shrimp, classic Ron. That's his favorite food.
I can't believe John Ralphio tries to touch it.
John Ralphio, get out of here.
Oh my gosh.
They added in like almost like a cracking sound with his wrist or whatever. Oh my God. And then this is where Tom asks to reschedule because he's nervous, but Ron's like, no, I want to keep my appointments. And then this is where Ron, doesn't know that Jean-Ralphio is Tom's business partner, and he just messes up Ron's confidence again, especially like with grabbing the shrimp. Like, you clearly don't know Ron at all. Also,
absolutely
even
not.
if it wasn't Ron, why would you just do that to someone's plate?
I mean, I would take something from Ivan's plate. I might take something from your plate. But this is like, I wouldn't take something from a coworker's plate.
No.
Like, there's a line.
Yeah.
So this is just ballsy.
No line. Yeah. He's just stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Rethink that move, son.
Oh,
love that line.
So good. Now it's awkward because Leslie brings up sailing because that was one of the topics, and Steve says that Julia got the boat in the divorce.
How did Ben not see this coming?
I know.
Like, he should have known.
And then Ulani feeling weird. It's a whole thing. Like, I love that, though. I feel weird.
Yeah. I know. Be out with it. This is a weird situation.
And to her credit, she does say, like, what the hell? I wasn't invited. Like, why am I here? Whereas I feel like some people, if it was that awkward, would be like, well, I deserve to be here kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at least she's getting the social cues.
And I don't think it's Ben and Leslie's fault that she wasn't invited. Like, it sounds like Steve just fucking brought her.
Right.
Like, which should have been a, can Ulani come?
Yes.
And then it would have been like, hey, Dad, this is the first time you're meeting my fiance and you're going to be in the room with Mom. Maybe Ulani can come to breakfast the next morning with us or something. Like, like, but ask.
Stupid.
Jeez. Also, I have to say, like, that's really shitty of Julia that she got the sailboat and the divorce just to send it to a scrapyard. Like, if it was important to him,
sucks.
that feels really icky.
Yeah. Dude, divorce does some crazy stuff.
It really does. It hurts me.
Yeah. It's
all this stuff.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
But now we get to the surprise, which is the quilt. And I love that. It settled 3 disputes. And I love, what was the third time? Right fucking now. It's so good. I love it. The beep.
And I love
so
that he's
worth it.
like, I'm so attracted to you right now.
I know. I love her line.
The confidence. Oh, it's so good.
And then Champion is here. Andy and April go to cheer up Chris, and Champion helps out, and it's so cute. And but it's also really weird because he's having this like really weird intimate moment with Champion, and even Andy and April are like a little like, what's going on? Because Champion's basically like licking his tears. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which
dogs
is sad
are
and cute.
Weirdly about that.
I feel like he should get a therapy dog. That would be helpful.
Should. Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah. And I mean,
but I
we'll
do
see
love
it later where Champion is like being given to Andy to just like help him. Or maybe that was in the other one, the Lake House episode where
yeah, they definitely get time together during Jerry's 40th, 50th, 60th, 16th, sweet 16th.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love this idea though. Andy and April did a great job like knowing, hey, let's bring Champion in. He's loved him in the past. Like, I think this is a great play. Very thoughtful.
I know. I think the other awkward thing probably about it is that Chris is like talking to Champion, like with his therapy speak of like, you are so beautiful and so great and so powerful.
Yeah.
It's a very intimate moment.
It is.
Anyway, the Unity quilt doesn't have Ulani, and Steve like is so weird. And like I just feel like he could totally have a filter, but he's like, this is a thoughtless omission, Leslie.
It's so aggressive towards Leslie, and Leslie was just trying to do something nice. And it's
also not thoughtless. I agree with Leslie.
It's not.
Like, you're not blood related. You haven't been in this family for a very long time. If I had known that you were pregnant, maybe, and that you had a kid, maybe you'd be in here. But even then, like,
well, it's so. I mean, you might remember at our wedding we did a Unity painting, right? And it took us a long time to decide if my stepdad and my dad's girlfriend, who I consider my stepmom now anyway, but like if they were going to be included in the painting. Like, we took a lot of time and thought, and we were like, Randy's actually married to my mom. I've known him for 10 years. Like, it makes a lot of sense for him to be part of it. But then it felt really icky not having Natalie be part of it. And so we were like, we're just going to do blood parents. Like, it took a lot of thought. So I think it's fair if Leslie didn't include her.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, And the fact that they're making her feel bad about it makes me sad because she really, really was excited about this.
Yeah. And she did put a lot of thought into it. So that's just like totally untrue. He's just being stupid. And this is what a lot of people do, especially parents. When they're hurt, they lash out and they, whatever. Yeah. A lot of people do that.
And here she is again, like, well, let's make an Ulani square. She's just being super flexible for them to make everybody feel included. And again, it just still goes to shit.
I know. And that's what Leslie does. So she tries to make it better, draw her name on the square. Julia gets super crazy and says, I don't want her on my quilt. And then Leslie starts to break. She starts to break a little bit.
It's
where
not
she's
your
like,
quilt.
It's not your quilt. It's all of our quilt. It's a unity quilt. Hello?
I'm surprised she lasted this long. Like, good for her. I think I would have broke before that.
Crazy. And this is where the Ulani meaning cheerful comes in. And I do love that, like you said before, Marlene is having a nice, like, kind of moment where she's just trying to smile and just keep the peace.
Yeah.
And I mean, the parents are agreeing that the Unity quilt was a disaster. So Leslie is like, see, Ben, it's working.
They're agreeing on something.
Right. Oh, God. Well, now we're at Tom's house, his apartment, condo thing, whatever, prepping for the presentation. Jean-Ralphio is being stupid and wants to go clubbing and thinks Ron should be going with them. Ron should be coming to them.
Which, dumb.
Doesn't make sense at all. And it's just stupid because Jean-Ralphio clearly isn't invested in this like Tom is. Yeah. And I love the line. I do love it. Sometimes you got to work a little so you can ball a lot.
It makes me wonder, seeing this, would Entertainment 720 have been actually successful if we took Jean-Ralphio out of it? Because he just had money to spend. Now, part of me is like, no, because Tom needed to go through that failure to see and then turn it into a success in his next business. But Jean-Ralphio seems like, when I look back at Entertainment 720, was there to spend money and look cool. And because they don't have money to spend and look cool here, he's kind of like, I'm out.
Yeah. That's true. That's a valid point. I still think Tom like had a lot to learn and didn't really know what he was doing. Like, he didn't even know what the company was half the time. So except for those like deleted scenes where they did pet funeral like montages or whatever after Little Sebastian. Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely Tom's thing. Like, he is very serious about this. And
he doesn't want to fail again.
Yeah. And I think he sees that this is a better idea. Like, this is a gap that's missing in the market, whereas Entertainment 720 didn't really know what it was. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're at where Anna's giving Chris some food. Champion's still snuggling. I love this. Andy is saying happy things while April is saying bummer things to even him out. Dave Matthews Band in both.
That's so good.
It's so good.
The emotion, I get the same there's no more tissues vibe from that bite was so good. This one's not as good.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. So funny.
Such an emotional roller coaster right now.
Well, Ben tries to, make Steve calm down, but then we see that Julia is literally cutting out the square on the quilt. What in the hell?
This is so childish. Like, say what you will about what like divorce will make people feel. Like, this is like next level to me.
So extreme and stupid. And the whole like it had to be done. It did? Really?
It didn't. Like, what are you talking about?
God.
Oh. So much.
And to be honest with you, I am not gonna lie. I know that I've seen this episode a billion times, but even watching this, I like had kind of like in watching everything else of this episode, I like forgot that Ulani was pregnant, and then like I even gasped when she said that. I was like, after everything that we've gone through, oh no, what are we gonna do?
It's the poisoned cherry on top of this evening.
And then Julia's like, I cannot be in the same room with him. And they're like, what about the wedding? And they're like, I'm talking about the wedding.
This also hurts me.
Yeah.
Because this is your son. He's found happiness, and you're saying, I'm not coming to the wedding because your dad's going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I know that your son is in his 30s, but I feel like as a mom, you put your kids first still. Like, and you find a way, like, what can we do? Like they present later, right? What can we do so that I can be there for you, but don't have to interact with your dad. Because that's fair. If you don't want to interact with him, okay. But
Yeah.
to say to your son that you're not going to be there to support him on this big day, like, breaks my heart.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this might sound like whatever to some people, but if it was me, and I know this is a TV show, whatever, but if it was me, and I didn't want my parents to come to the engagement party, it would be a line drawn for me. I would be like, you cannot make me have them together. If I didn't want them. Now I don't really, whatever. They can make their own choices. I don't know what I'd do, to be honest. But if I didn't want them to be there and I know that this contention is happening, I just think that I know his love overcomes it. But if I knew this shit was going to go down, I would just be like, this is supposed to be celebration. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, I don't want to deal with their fucking shit. I just want to have a good time with who I love, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this night has not been about Leslie and Ben at all.
No.
They haven't gotten to celebrate each other
The
at
wedding
all.
is never about the people that are actually getting married, I feel, unless you make it to be, which means you don't invite certain people.
Yeah.
But
that's real.
That sucks. And so Leslie's asking her mom if her and her dad were like that. And she said, Marlene says that they fought occasionally, but usually they just ended up having sex. I love that, though. It's so funny and cute. And so inappropriate.
Which no kid wants to hear, but like.
Yeah, and I love that. It's a very deep and special moment when she says, how can you be so wise and inappropriate at the same time? And she says she's a mom.
I'm a parent, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great spot, because you have to, like, most people need to realize that, you're going to fight. Yeah. Any relationship is going to have those moments of contention, but it's how do you come out of them?
Yeah.
And I think that's like, hers ends in inappropriateness for her daughter, but it's the sentiment behind it, which is really nice.
Yeah. Well, Tom is trying
full circle daughter moment too. Sorry, this is the moment that I was talking about where I'm sitting here. I'm like, I'm so happy Leslie has this.
Oh yeah, totally. Where they can like bond over it, and like she's not making trouble,
Yeah, and she's asking for advice, like
I like it too.
Personal advice, not work advice too.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Well, Tom is still trying to work really hard on his presentation. John Ralphio's being really stupid. And I love that Tom is showing growth here. I actually really enjoy this arc here. When he actually says out loud, I don't think you're serious. And John Ralphio's like, oh, no, I'm definitely not. Like, confirmed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard. I think some people have the personality for it, and I wish I did. I think it's really hard for some people to like speak out to their friends like that.
Sure.
Like,
totally.
And so the fact that he's like, no, this is important to me enough to say something.
Yeah.
Is really great.
And I love that. I love the depiction. I don't love that Tom is actually sad, but I love the depiction of him being disappointed and upset, because I think he thinks when he's saying that, John Ralphio's going to say, okay, yeah, all right, I'll hunker down. But he doesn't. And it really sucks. And Tom is like really upset about it. Of course, But also, and I mean, some people can have that, adding that different dynamic of business versus relationship versus friendship versus whatever. Like sometimes that doesn't work for everybody, and that is a real thing too. But John Ralphio is just like not even trying. That's the part that sucks. It's like you're not even trying to help, Yeah.
I think Tom probably feels abandoned a little bit. Like you're not even going to do anything.
Yeah.
Well,
back at the party, we have the battle of the men, is what I call it. Ron and Steve are reaching for the last shrimp. Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Perfect way for them to, like, have a meet cute, though. For them to be shown interaction with each other.
You called it, what did you call it? Battle of the Men?
Yeah.
Mine was strongman standoff.
Nice.
I love that we had the same note with different wording.
I know. We both had a title for this. It was so important.
Because there's nothing said, but it says so much.
It says so much. So true. Well, now Leslie's in the cab that Ben got earlier, and she is like, okay, you were right. I got brownies, all the brownies, 4 bottles of wine. We're going to Australia. And she apologizes, and she's like, I'm on your team, but, far away from here, which is great, because that's like what the Marlene Leslie moment was. Like, you just always have to be on the same team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Like, obviously, like you said, you're going to have fights or whatever. But, and then I love that Ben is like, at the end of the day, like, even if this was a line drawn for him, like I was talking about before, like, he does see that Leslie really wanted this to work out, and she tried her hardest. She really tried.
She did.
And I think Ben appreciates that in his own way. You know what I mean? But then he finally gets mad and he's like, I'm tired of them getting their way. And Leslie suggests to hardcore make out for 15 minutes. And the cab driver is cool with it for another $100.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too. Yeah, it's their connection moment, their coming together moment. I think it's what gives Ben his power. But I love this, like, you know, we talked about in the beginning of the episode is like, I didn't know how I felt about Leslie kind of steamrolling this, even when Ben knew what the outcome was going to be, right? But if we look at it, if Leslie hadn't tried so hard and Ben hadn't watched her try so hard to get them together and to bring them together, I don't know if he would have hit this point where he's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I need to step in and say something, because what he says next in the next scene with the family, Leslie couldn't have done.
Yeah.
It's not her
Agree.
spot, and it wouldn't have hit the same for his parents. So
Right.
it's like this, she had to, you know, do her thing and then hit her point of being like, we can't do this anymore, for him to hit his moment of, you know, I'm going to fight now. I'm going to fight for it now.
Right. Yeah. And as a side note, cab driver Doug was the character's name for this, and he's played by Doug Smith, and he is actually an associate producer and production coordinator on Parks.
Oh, that's awesome.
He has played a cab driver in many of the episodes, and he definitely came back for this, which is great. He's also worked for Veep Popstar, I think.
Yeah.
And looks like some more stuff, but yeah, that's really cool that they just like randomly had him be the cab driver.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Back at the party, ew, did you notice that like at the beginning, John Ralphio was like smelling a waitress's hair, like following after her? Like, it's really gross. And Ron pokes him with the meat stick, which I love. The little shish kebab thing.
Yeah, I love it.
And this is where we learn that Ron is like, why aren't you working on the project with Tom? And John Ralphio's like, no, Tom fired me. Like, he said I wasn't serious, blah, 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 blah. And I think that really speaks to Ron, which we'll learn. But that's crazy that he comes back to the party.
I know. When he said he was going to go clubbing, that was my note. Is like, this is not a club, sir.
Yeah. I guess he's just like flopping all around.
Yeah.
In that episode, or that scene in particular, John Ralphio's hair is massive. Like, it is so tall. I noticed it. Like, obviously his hair is always tall, but in that scene in particular, I mean, it is sky high. It's like Dolly Parton 80s vibes.
Yes. I love that.
So
Do we know if that's all Ben Schwartz's hair, or if they have to
I think it is.
supplement?
No, I think it's his hair and they just styled it.
Wow. That's impressive. Good job, hair and makeup.
Totally.
Nailed it.
He has this idea for condoms with pictures on them.
Why?
Yes. Oh my God. There is a deleted scene where he tells Tom that, and Tom is even like riffing with him on like, okay, yeah, let's make that work. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
Tom is part of the problem.
And like
you created this monster. Don't tell
Right.
him that's a good idea.
I know. Tom is like saying you could put the Eiffel Tower on it. It's like, it is funny, but it's
do they understand the concept of condoms and what they're for? Yeah, I don't think we need pictures. Oh boy.
Well, now Chris is doing push-ups, and they're all telling him like, you can't just bottle it all up. Like, you can't just, you know, push it all down. Like, you do need to get it out and purge all this stuff. So we're glad you did that tonight. Also, the queen of toilet humor seemed so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I was like, this doesn't match with what I've known, but okay, that's whatever.
Yeah. Weird.
All right, so now Ben and Leslie are giving a talking to all the parents and the girlfriend, and saying they have to come to the wedding, but they don't have to socialize, and in fact, they insist on not socializing. Like, they'll seat each other far apart.
Mm-hmm. I'm here for this idea.
Yeah. Everyone apologizes, even Ulani, which is great.
Yep. I do have to say, as a previously pregnant person, Steve is sitting in the cushy chair and Ulani is sitting on the arm of the chair.
Oh,
like, get your ass up, put your pregnant girlfriend in the chair.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, you can either stand or sit on the arm. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh my God. And like I said before, it is kind of funny that nobody comes to the wedding that they actually do have.
Yeah.
Which honestly,
that actually probably worked out in Ben's favor anyway. Yeah.
I know. I was thinking about it, honestly. I didn't really think about it when I was analyzing the episode, but now that I'm like in, doing the episode now, I don't know what I would do, to be honest.
Yeah.
As far as like, inviting both parents, or like how I would make that work, to be honest. Like,
Mhm.
I guess in an ideal world, I would love to, but I don't know what I would do. Or
Well, I think
maybe
it's
I wouldn't have them at the, like, maybe I wouldn't have them at the engagement party, but at the wedding, if I had a wedding.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I also say, I would say, it's a little bit different too, probably. I mean, obviously our two situations are different too,
Mhm.
but then also our situations are different from Ben. First of all, he's a dude.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times when it comes to planning a wedding, like, our relationship with our mom is like different. Our relationship with, do we want our dad to walk us down the aisle, is just
Yeah.
different than a guy. So that also plays a part in it. And then it also sounds like his parents haven't been together for a really long time. It sounds like he kind of just raised himself and got out,
Yeah.
which is, I think we also have closer relationships with our moms than
Yeah.
it sounds like he does. So it's just interesting to think about what
Yeah.
you would do in that situation.
Yeah, I really have no idea. I mean, in an ideal world, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like I would just go with whoever I like, or who I'm in love with, who I would marry.
Mhm.
Literally just us, and go. And maybe my
Yeah.
sister, and just like do our thing. And then maybe we have a party later and invite everybody. But I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
worth it to me for
It's
to think about the stress. But again,
And it's
that
gotta
everybody's
be-
situation is different.
Yeah, it's got to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be happy, going to a beach in Hawaii
Yeah.
and just having your sister there, the witness, like, you do
Yeah.
what's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
So,
So anyways, now they're leaving. They get in the cab and they make out again.
yes.
Which I love.
Okay, there is a scene that makes me uncomfortable.
What?
And I don't know if it's just me, but Ulani takes Ben's hand and puts it on her stomach.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a little cringy.
Oh, yeah, I would be so uncomfortable
Yeah.
as Ben, and then also as you, Ulani.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? But I
Ugh.
know why they did it. I just feel like they're doing that to make it seem like, okay, we're like smoothing things
Coming
over now.
together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, the tag is Ron coming to Tom's house, and which I kind of find interesting that they are that he's coming to his
That's
house.
where they're meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I would
is
have thought it would be
interesting.
at work.
Right.
But anyway, Tom says he barely got any sleep, but Ron immediately invests because Tom says that he likes working with serious people. And once he knew that John Ralphio was no longer a part of it and Tom was behind John Ralphio not being a part of it, like
Mhm.
it really showed Ron that he's ready and he has a growth moment. I love that. And,
Yeah.
and then John Ralphio comes back and totally proves that this was the right choice.
Yeah.
Oh my
Dude.
God. Clubs, girls, dancing, naked. Mom?
Mom?
Okay. You know where I be. Technically, I'm homeless. Oh my God. It's so crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot. Oh, John Ralphio.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I do wonder, did Leslie cross a line by inviting Ben's parents? I don't know why I keep just like coming back to that. I feel like she did, but
Yeah.
they talked about it and they're fine. So, I mean, as long as
Yeah, I think
Ben-
they worked through it by the time the episode starts.
Yeah.
But I don't think she asked him, and I think that they probably had an argument about it and they worked
Yeah.
through it. But
And Ben
Yeah.
was like, okay, I love you. Fine. We'll just try, I guess, whatever. Even though it's going to be
Yeah.
awful. I think he was just preparing himself for the worst.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But, well, that's pretty much all I have. The only thing that
Yeah.
I think that I might look up for the recap is what the Georgia square was and what the rest of the squares were on
Yeah.
the Ulani quilt. Or Ulani quilt. Oh my God. Ego. The Freudian ego thing coming
Yeah.
in. No, that was a Freudian slip. No, the Unity quilts.
Yes.
They both start with U, so I have to give
Mhm.
myself some grace. But anyway,
Yes, absolutely.
that's pretty much it that I have. Do you have anything else?
I don't.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, that was it. And thank you for joining us. Don't forget to rate and review if you haven't already. You can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on Instagram and TikTok and all the things, so you can look us up there. And yeah, I think that's all. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next time.
See you soon.
Happy fall. Bye.
Bye.
There's a Parkinson Pals and there's also therapy too.